Hello! The year cycle is completed once more, and Christmas is here. Today we're gonna visit a musical rite of the holiday season, Handel's Messiah. My name is Carlos Andres Botero, and this is our music. An immediate success, this oratorio is one of few works with the bragging rights of being performed uninterruptedly every year since that momentous evening in April 1742. But how did a German composer end up creating an icon of English music? Handel. Handel was born in Halle, Germany in 1685. A child prodigy, by 18 Handel had composed his first opera, Almira. Few years later, he wrote the water music for George I. It was intended to be performed for the monarch as His Majesty's barge navigated through a London canal on a summer evening. Handel soon realized there was a greater chance of making a living in a free-spirited musical entrepreneurial environment such as London, and soon decided to move there. We need to remember Handel was as much a producer as he was a composer. Two things contributed to Handel interested in sacred oratorios. Opera productions were forbidden during Lent, for England's devout society would not allow entertainment in an otherwise solemn season. Large stage productions became impractical due to sharp increase in costs and the ever-changing audience taste. With oratorios, Handel was able to address seemingly divergent paths. An oratorio is a large-scale work for soloist, chorus, and orchestra. In an oratorio, unlike the opera, the chorus has a protagonic role. A sense of humanity imbues Handel's music as he was consistently concerned with the feelings of his fellow mortals. Even when the subject of his work is religious, he writes about the human response to the divine, and this is particularly noticeable in Messiah. The piece does not contain an encompassing narrative, instead offering contemplation on different aspects of the Christ. Even today, close to 300 years after its premiere, virtually every audience is mesmerized from the moment the tenor follows the mournful string overture with his opening line, Comfort ye, my people." From this point on, each gesture shows us a composer using all the tricks learned in a lifetime making operas, this time in a concert setting, and creating the English oratorio in the process. Handel's masterpiece was composed in an outstanding 24 days between August and September 1741. Working over a text compiled by Charles Jennens, Handel would literally write from morning till night with the intention of premiering over Easter the following spring. In the United States, of course, Messiah is a fixture of the Christmas season. The origin of such practice takes us back to the creation of the Handel and Haydn Society in Boston, the ensemble that performed the premiere of Messiah in America in December 1818 and consistently every 2 years ever since. With time, the piece and the holiday season knitted themselves into Western culture, much like that other Yuletide tradition of Germanic origin, the Christmas tree. Messiah offers enough logical ground to justify its Christmas dwelling. The first part prophesies the birth of Jesus Christ. The second exalts his sacrifice for humankind. And the final section heralds his resurrection. It definitely adds to the mood of anticipation during Advent. Here's one big question: to stand or not to stand? Entirely upheld by the audience, the tradition of standing during the Hallelujah chorus has an obscure origin and constitutes an outlier behavior in the concert hall. Imagine an audience rising to their feet before the last movement of any symphony. So how did this become a tradition? Nobody knows for sure. The most commonly accepted theory is that King George II stood up during the London premiere, either because he thought it was the end of the piece, or he was honestly moved by the glorious music, or simply because a bad case of gout made sitting for long quite painful. Unfortunately, there is no record at all in contemporary sources that indicate the presence of the king at the concert, not at any subsequent performance. Hence, the reason for standing during the famous chorus remains a mystery, and the controversy of whether we should, could, must stand will resurface many times. For come next December, I'm sure Messiah will rejoin with replenished energy the Christmas celebrations. Thanks for listening. Please leave your comments below and don't forget to subscribe. Hear you next time.